Okay, so recording. Hey guys, I'm not going to be looking at the screen so much because I'm driving, but for those of you who are that getting stressful about that, so I just want to emphasize that I'm in Europe, in nice highway, 100 kilometers per hour. It's not too fast. It's the maximum here. It's in the Netherlands. And the roads are amazing. These roads are actually built to drive on them. I'm not such a big driving fan, but it's nice. It's nice. And actually, this video, spontaneously, I decided to make it. So, for those of you who doesn't know me, my name is Tamir. I'm a human rights lawyer. I'm human and trying to do the right things in life. And I have some ideas and concepts I would like to share with you guys. So this video is about thanking. I'm really thankful for everything I have. My child has a birthday today, and it's great to be a father. It's great to be here in this world. Something I have to remind myself after the 3 years we've gone through since 2020. So one thing I would like to say is that I was passing Schiphol. It's the international airport in Amsterdam, just a bit earlier, and I was thinking about it. It's nice that we can fly right now and go through the security and still feel honored, that respectful as before, even though that what happened with the fake pandemic is just make me wonder, maybe we should also change things in the future, not to go back the way they was before. So for instance, I would make the whole process of getting through security, through check-in and everything, if I had to redesign the whole thing, I would probably go with more privacy to people. So it should be, the whole airport should be built in a way that you go and you go through stations, but you don't see too many people around you, not so many lines. So maybe just like a 10-fold or 20-fold more staff people to handle everybody that comes in, so you don't feel any in any way that you're stuffed with other people. I will explain why I think about it. Go a little bit deep. I'm just thinking about that because corona measures, when you had to put a diaper on your face and all that shit, that doesn't cut it for me. And I want to explain why I'm talking about this subject, because I would not rest until this thing is not going to be fundamentally changed by a demand from the humans, from mankind, from people all over countries. We are now a global village, right? I talked now I'm just recording this message, and this message will get to as many people as possible that will find interest in that. So now this is our power to unite with ideas, So if I am saying something about that you find this is important and interesting, then you will take this message and you take it forward to other people, and that's what I mean. And that's why I'm recording this. So we had the corona thing, and we had those regulations. I remember I had to go through a lot of manipulation and maneuvering because I'm a lawyer, so I know how to do it, but to avoid flying with masks. So I was the only one on the plane without a mask. And this is something which is, in my point of view, unacceptable. Now, I don't care how much people in my generation don't think the same way, I just don't care. As long as I'm here, I'm going to push back. So not only this will be not allowed in the future, not even to think about such craziness. I think we should change the system altogether, the way that we are being handled in every situation when there is a crowd. And I think about the changes in the world, like for sorry about the noise, it's just some, it's not like a heavy rain. So, 300 years ago, started the Industrial Revolution. We started to move from villages to cities, to high-rise buildings, and to be dense in small areas, and that made a structure was built around it, and that's how trains are operating, buses are operating, flights and everything. And we just accept it. I can talk for behalf of my generation. We just were born to that, and I think for older generations as well. It moves on from generation to generation, and things are just being done because they are being done in such a certain way. Not necessarily somebody is giving a thought to that. Later on in time, when we see a bigger picture, and in our times there is amazing opportunity to view, because we have better understanding and documentation of history. We have history. Earlier days, people were like, they didn't have so much history. So what I'm trying to say is that we can rethink the whole thing. And first of all, and I know that this sounds maybe a bit off for our time, because I think this whole masks and regulations are going to come back. It's obvious that whoever launched it before is going to try to do it again. The job is not done yet. Not enough people are dead. There is no one central, regime in the world, or at least diminishing of balance of power is not enough. One way or another, the bad guys are not going away. However, once we are done with them, and we'll be done with them, I'm pretty certain that it's really about us, humanity, to choose our way. And since bad things have happened, and I see it so serious, because since the Holocaust happened, I don't think there was any event as big as it was in the pandemic time, fake pandemic. And it might not look like that, because it's not, nobody dropped any atomic bomb as in a way that we can see it. But I think it's much bigger than the atomic bombs that were launched on World War II. This was much more sophisticated operation, and they really managed to go under people's skin, literally. But it's the big problem is not the physical one. Is that people, police officers, soldiers, civilians, were willing to lose their minds, to lose their humanity, to lose their common sense, and treat in aggression. And but until today there is not so much aggression outside, but still people hold these views. Actually, they hold these views all their lives because they were educated like that. And that's why I think we should be starting in focusing on education. So if I'm starting any movement with this video, which maybe it can happen, I would say first thing on the job is to focus on education. What we need to do, I don't think this had been done ever in history. We should make sure that children are being raised, first of all, as much as naturally as possible. When I'm saying naturally, I don't want to get into details what we have to do, but I want to get into details what we mustn't do, which is put them in cages, like they called classes, and tell them when to eat, when to sit, when to talk, when to write, what to think. We have to encourage critical thinking. We have to encourage human rights understanding from day one. And by the way, I want to emphasize this. Human rights for children means, I want people to be focused on what I'm saying now, that their parents has their right to educate them the way they want to. Now, I would encourage community to stay aware and alert for every abusive parent. I'm not saying that every parent has to abuse also this right, but because 99 or maybe 99.99 of all parents are great, or between good to great, then the right of their children is that their parents is going to have the rights to make any decision about them, not anybody else but the parents. And of course, if there is a problem for a family, community has to try to step in and help as much as possible in order to make the parents stay in place and not take the kids away. So unless there is like really, really serious problem, which is rare, it happens, but it's not the majority for sure, then all these crazy ideas about the country, the government has to get into the role of the parents. This has to be thrown away to the garbage. And yes, the other main thing is to make sure we are building a society of young generation that breathe and think and live and breathe human rights, understanding about the strong place that we have as citizens in every free society that we live in. What is a free society, and how we should treat each other with respect and never suspect on people that are disease spreaders or whatever, things that the Nazis used 90 something years ago, and now other kind of Nazis are using the same concept, and sadly enough, too many people are listening and don't have the capacity. They just don't have the capacity. They're not bad people. They're just, the majority of them don't have the capacity to understand the insanity that is behind those ideas, that you will be requiring from other people not to be a threat on you by their existing only. This is insanity. There is no other way to explain it. It's insanity. And many people don't have the capacity. They so much want to believe in a narrative. They want to believe that the government is doing everything for us. They found this amazing medicine for this insanely dangerous disease, which nobody dies on the street, nobody dies even at home. The governments, the regimes, they don't do any autopsies in most cases. They don't try to find how to deal with that. No, they had this problem, they found the vaccine in 2 seconds, in a few months, and that's it. Now there is the vaccines, and that's that. I mean, how ignorant or I don't want to use maybe this language, but how unaware can a person be to not see all these signs? They just told you a story, They make a big drama. You don't check it. You don't see if it really fits to reality. It doesn't. People don't die on the street. People don't die. And when you talk with somebody that really wants to stick to the lie, tells you many times, "Oh, I've seen somebody. I know about somebody that was died. You know how sad it was, how cruel it was, how painful it was to die in this way from COVID." It's not true. But even if it was true, how can you take a sporadic case and just a case you've heard here and there and say, okay, this is happening, so then we have to do something on a global scale, or we have to deal with something on a national scale, in a way, because we see 1 or 2 per person out of how many? It's bullshit. There's so many things that don't add up. The fact that they try to push the vaccine, they market it so strongly. How come you have serious threat on society, and governments are spending millions for advertisement and pushing people to do the right thing the government thinks they need to do? By the way, one of those things is exposing their, I would say, prostitute, their private health information. Whether you got injected or not, you should not be asked about it. And people had to show tests or vaccination before flying or before whatever. And it's coming back. It's going to come back as long as those crazy people are in power. But I am very optimistic when it comes to this thank you thing that I started this whole video about, and share it to the world. I'm in the Netherlands, everything is green. Yeah, it's still winter time, a lot of water, tons of water. This land is a creation of what people can do. How can people get together and build something? And you can see it in many Western countries, all over Europe and the States and other places. We come so far, and see people are driving around me. I'm probably one of the only few people, if any, that are just driving aimlessly here today. Everybody's driving for a purpose. I mean, even my driving, even without a direction, it's for the purpose of doing that. But I remember I came here, it's almost 9 something years, yeah. And I used to be excited seeing the animals, the farms everywhere. People are not beeping on the streets almost at all. Very respectful to each other. This is one of those one of those advanced cultures in Europe and worldwide that were very tolerant to others. And you can feel it. You can feel it in the vibe, in the air. You can still feel like that when you go through Amsterdam. It's very like romantic city, in the city center, or all around the country, more or less. But when Corona launched and people got enough propaganda, you could see what is coming out of them. And that's happened in the Netherlands, it happened in Israel, it happened in Germany, it happened in France, in Italy, in the United States, in many cases, Australia, you name it. In most places, you could see what fear is getting out of people. And fear of what? Fear of dying. The only thing that is certain for us for the moment that we are starting to have logical thinking, so through adolescence, I think, you know that There's one thing for certain. Everybody dies. Everybody dies. So, yeah, nobody wants to go faster than, what we can, and definitely in good health. But isn't it ironic that maybe people were misled to take the injection that might kill them because they were afraid to die young, and they would be dying young? Not only might happen, it is already happening, and unfortunately I personally know somebody that it happens to, close family relative. But here it is, you see. I wouldn't base anything about one particular case or few, but how many are there? Does anybody count? I know from what I see in my feed on Facebook, I know from, from so many sources, and from what people are documenting, it's almost by the day. And many athletes. So you know what? It's out there. Truth is out there already. It was out there from day one. But I can understand that it was being harder to acknowledge. But now it's obvious. Okay, morning thoughts. I don't know if I'm going to publish it because it should be a little bit bold for me. It's like I'm me talking to myself, to be honest, and so I'm not like just too focused, and English is not my native language, even though I know English perfect. But sometimes you want to develop some deep idea, so you have to really find the right words. It's not flowing like day to day. But whatever, I hope I have the courage enough to release this, because I think people should listen, think it over, speak about it themselves, move these ideas. I'm thinking lately a lot about really maybe forming a fund, because we need to create our own new societies. So my point of view, we need to fund it, and again, go global. Everything that has been done, it has to be done in almost any country. I think there's many sources of awake people today, but I don't see any strong movement that use the power of all the individuals separately together, definitely economically. So in order to have new education systems, so many people are doing it in many places, and that's great, but I think we should collaborate. I think we should have kind of the ability, and if we have enough money like the bad guys do, we can do many good things. We can unite people and make sure that there is a collaboration and learn from each other. I mean, the principles are very basic, and we have to go to a very, in my point of view, to live in societies, we have to shift, to move on to societies that when laws are very minimal. Because when the intention of people is to do the right thing, to be good, not to try the opposite of what it is today, not to try to strive for getting as much as more as you can and then use that as a power. This is human nature in one way, so that cannot be taken away. But from the other hand, there are many people and many stages in life, in one person's life, that he wants to back off a little. He wants to let go. He wants to be focused on learning, studying, having fun, just, resting. And then I think society should also allow that. And we have to build something between socialism and capitalism. I mean, I think it's not between. I think those two things that sometimes are the opposite, because when you're resting and easygoing, you don't have the motivation to create, to improve. So in order for us to be to win from all worlds, we have to find a way of collaboration. So in my point of view, poverty is something that we definitely have to let go of. But that doesn't mean that people has to let go of property or their ambitions to create more, to do more, and also to be rewarded for that. And again, to use that reward into their benefits. But I think we have to slow down. We have to take it easier. We have to make sure that there's much less stress. I think stress is very important. Wow, sorry. Maybe I'll just use my... No, but that wouldn't be polite for my viewers, so let's just leave it like that. But if I have to, I'll put it. No, I have to. So just for a little while. What I'm saying is that we have to work on this, and I think we have to work with human nature, and human nature is, from one side, is to explore and learn and even compete, but competition in a way that, again, it's just trying to do great and make sure that everybody else are doing great as well. Remember, there is this famous video about runners. I don't remember the names. It was something, I think, in the 80s, and it was like 5-kilometer run or marathon. I don't remember, but it was a competition, and then there was somebody that was in the lead and he fell down, and the one that was number 2, he helped him to get up and pushed him to win the race. And when people asked him later on, you could be number 1, why didn't you do it? And he said, that wasn't the right thing to do. That's not the way I want to win. So this is kind of competition I'm talking about. They were in a competition, for sure, 100%, and they wanted to win, but fairly, and also to make sure that others are doing good. It's not a bad thing. However, too many people are now struggling in how to maintain just regular basic good life, and that's something I think it's wrong. And because those bad guys that we're dealing with in every country, they have this system of printing money. Now, I don't get it. If somebody can explain to me, you know what, I'm going to publish this, and I want you to explain to me in the comments. If I have a problem with money and I need more money, can I just go and print it? Because they're selling now this, like color printing machine for a long time now, and also now 3D printing. Why can't we buy also money printing machine? I think this is a brilliant idea. And every time you're running out of money, you're just printing more. I mean, this is what the governments are doing. They have the privilege to do it for what they think is good, the benefit for all of us, which any one that understands economic on the basics, and I think that I am one of those persons that understand only on the basics. If you print money, you're actually making it harder on the economy. On the short run, people have the money, they can run and buy stuff, but on the long run, that will make everything more expensive, and then it will need to print money all the time, and it's like a vicious cycle. And I don't want to get too much into details, but I'm just saying that if the government has the right to print money, and printing money is good at times, well, I think every citizen, every one of us, could be able to purchase or even be financed by the government a printer free to get it at home. like you get water meter or whatever, and be able to print your own money. And by the way, not digital money, not something that they can trace and tell you how much you can do. Give you enough papers, to print whatever you want. What I'm trying to say is that this is what they say, rigged system, and we need a new system. And that system has to be built on different intentions of human beings. What we need to change is the intention. Everything will align after that. And according to that, our intention has to be different competition and also different views for anybody that decided for his whole life or any part of his life that he wants to back off of this rat race and he wants to be in a different mode. And we as a society have to embrace it and support it, so people can feel really comfortable how they want to live their life in certain situations. You know how much contribution that will give to the world? For instance, many people in their life, they're getting to the crisis, right? 30 crisis, 40 crisis, 50 crisis. Why? Because there's so much burden, educating the kids, even feeding them and taking care of them, it's hard. And maintaining marriage or couplehood, whatever, it doesn't matter the frame of that, but structure of a family, it's hard. And we need definitely in our era, in our age, there are so much triggers around. There are so many things that are interesting for us. You just take your smartphone and you can search the whole world, and see stuff. So we need a diversity. We are much more complex beings than before. 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, I guess if you have gone from the place you were born to a few more places around, maybe 50 kilometers away or more, that would be achievement. That you had to go with horses, everything. It wasn't that fun and so quick and so easy as it is today. So now we have a different world. It's a different time, and I think we should take this under consideration when we are now building a new society. And why do we build a new society? Why do we have to do it? Because in the past 3 years, some bad people decided that it's enough waiting for them to change the way that we live together as humans, and they want to change everything from the bottom up. And they started with pushing society for aggression, that people would be aggressive to each other. And since then, we've seen, for me it was like the first phase, a testing phase to see how far they can go. And now it's on a break. They're already talking about the next pandemic. Have you heard the G20, I think, summit? They talked about the new digital passport that they're going to launch, the World Health Organization. Next discussion is going to be about it. It's going to be, maybe they will present it in Geneva. That probably is their biggest convention. And I know I'm not going to be invited. And they want us to have digital passport. And what did this not so wise guy said on the G20 summit? He said, we will have to be ready for the next pandemic. And I do remember they told us it's going to be a pandemic, something like once in every 100 years. So now we are pretty much cool, right? We don't have to rush into digital passport. But I see leaders are talking about it. Look, there is a higher power. I don't know who is it and what's going on there, but I know only one thing. All those powers are based on our ignorance, on the majority ability or disability to say no. Just say no. I said it, and I never wore a mask for even one day. Now, I'm not saying that there couldn't be circumstances in life that people have to make a different decision. Everybody has their own thing. It's not a judgmental. I'm just saying that even if, let's leave like really, really, really extreme cases, 90%, 95% of the cases, everybody could say, no, I'm not wearing that. And think about it. Everybody goes into the bus, 80%, not even 80%, 50% is enough, or even 20 or 10 sometimes. Say, no, we're not playing that game. We are not playing that game, period. You're not going to ask me, you're not going to require from me anything that you don't have the right to require from me. You want to put a mask on yourself, put 10 masks on yourself. I'm not going to require from you to not do it. But we are civilized society, and that's what it means to be civilized, you know? Don't give your fears, your animal, I don't know, like, forgot the word, but instincts, yes. Don't let your instincts rule you, you know, that to be affected, you know, that be in control of yourself. That's what it's mean to be human and to be grown up. Control yourself and not push others for anything. If you don't have the right, and if you don't want anybody to do it to you, if I would say, okay, you want me to put a mask on my face, I want you to put a diaper on your head. I want you to put panties on your head. I want you to walk around with panties on your head. This will save us. I have a right to ask that from anybody, if anybody has a right to ask from me to put a mask on my face. It's the same. Okay, I'm going on for like almost 40 minutes now, so I'm gonna, I think, wrap it up. As long as not enough people in the world can understand everything I just talked about, which is very basic, very simple, then we're stuck. As long on the day that we will have enough people, that might be 10%, 20, 30, 40, I don't know, and it might take a lot of victims, it might take other things, I don't know that either. I do know one thing, is the day we'll have enough people that will understand this very basic logic. I have to educate myself and my kids what human rights are, what I should expect from the world I'm living. We are living in an era that we can shape it. I'm not just a small fish. I am a human being, and I'm here for a reason. And this whole world is existing because something beyond this world is making it happen. There's no other way. There's no way that this sophisticated system of all, if you look all the creatures, all the living beings, plants, soil, water, air, you name it, everything is precise, everything is amazingly organized. It's organized. Chaos, coincidence cannot make that thing. And on top of all this, there is us, human beings, that can think consciously. We can understand, observe, analyze what's going on. We have the ability to change our ways. You know, you can be an angry person if you work on it. Sometimes your whole life or half of it, you can gain changes. And it's not like when you're petting your dog and you're training your dog. It's not a training. It's a fundamental inner change that we can make. The dogs can be trained to do something, but their instincts will stay the same. We can change our way. There is an old saying that says that the whole world exists only upon those who are silent. They know how to keep silent in a conflict and a tension and a fight. When you have a fight with somebody and you know how to hold and say, okay, I can. And by the way, for parents it's even harder because we are bigger physically, we're stronger, we're smarter, and it's very easy to take that advantage on a kid, and you have to stop yourself and to hold yourself. And this whole world worthwhile to be existing only for that this you can get to this achievement. Only human beings can get to this achievement, and only part of the human beings. Everybody can get it, but not most of the people that don't pay attention and think things over. So what I'm trying to say here is that, coming back to the beginning of this video, this long video, it's I'm thankful. It's something to be thankful and grateful. I'm just talking with you guys. I'm riding for like 40 something minutes, and the roads are great and everything is like flowing. It's amazing, because it's not like automatic how do you call it, independent cars, autonomic cars. All these cars are running by humans, like people still. And yeah, of course here and there people make mistake and there are accidents, but the majority of the time you can just ride and for hours, for days, for months, and no accidents. It's cool. Everybody know how to treat each other. You see, it's not the rules that makes me and everybody else around me in this highway to drive in a safe way, in the right way, even though I'm speaking and this guy is listening to the radio and that guy is thinking about something. But we're all grown up and responsible enough to know that what we're doing. You see, I'm making this video. I'm almost not looking at the screen. I'm focusing on the driving. We also lucky enough to be able to operate few things, not really together, but it's simultaneously in a way. So I can speak with you and also drive, and I'll do other stuff. But I think that we can never think about more than one thing at the same moment of time. I mean, we can think fast about many things and many different subjects, but not simultaneously at the same moment. We can only think about one thing on one moment, but that's just on brackets. So I'm saying that we have to be thankful for that, and we have to be aware of our responsibility to shape our world, okay? And shaping our world means that in every moment that I live, and I'm conscious, if when I sleep, but when I'm conscious, I can make decisions, and I should make decisions, and normally I don't have any other choice but making a decision. And the decision, Maimonides, great philosopher, said 900 years ago, a person is always in a situation when he has to take a decision between the good or bad, or good or less good. That's it. Simple as that. So you go to the bus, you go to the workplace, you go to whatever, you say, I'm not playing a game. I'm not going to show you anything that is private. And you're not going to ask me anything that is private. And otherwise we will be in a society when I'm going to ask you every morning, show me your chart. I mean, you could be contagious for many things. I want to see what are you doing. I want to see everything. On your modest things. This is what I'm talking about. Sane society. And this will happen because of me, because of you. watching this and moving these ideas forward. That's it. And if it's not gonna happen, then it's not gonna happen. At least we tried. And I don't think we have any other choice. So most of the people were deceived. They made the wrong choices. But you know what? Every day it's a new day. Every day it's a new start. Wake up in the morning, step outside, take a deep breath, get real high. And anyway, this is it. I think from this wonderful morning and these views on life might be worthwhile helping for somebody. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I should make more videos like this. I should talk more about at least one thing. There in my life there is a divide of the world before Corona, fake pandemic, and after. And now it seems like everybody are going back to normal, like it never happened. No, it did happen, and it's still happening, and people are still dying, and the bad guys are still planning their plans, and our kids are in big danger, our children are in big danger for their future. And we have to shape the world for us and for them and for future generations the way we believe it should be. And the way to do it is to unite, economically unite, and everybody should contribute to that. Everybody. We are dealing with really strong powers. And we, with going together, the majority, the 99%, and influence other, and stand still and tall and speak for what you believe and push back all those things. That is basic. That is basic. I was starting to talk about the road earlier and I lost my train of thought. People are not afraid of getting arrested by the police if they drive wrong in the highway. They don't afraid of that. Of course they don't want it, but this is not what makes them drive safely. We are driving safely because we don't need too many rules. We know what is the right thing to do. And if people start to think like that and to believe in that and to work with each other in that perspective, even when you have conflict, you're going to resolve them differently. People are fighting and going to courts and whatever. I'm not talking about marriage now, that's another topic, but this is also related. But just fighting with each other about money, about whatever, pride, and they spend a lot of money and they're getting upset and they forget we are just here, visitors here for a moment, for a fraction. If you live until 80, 90, it doesn't matter, it's nice. But when you're getting old, you're very weak normally. So, and if you're very, very lucky, you're gonna be until your whole day, the last day, you're gonna be like clear in mind and productive and respected and honored, everything. And then you're gonna go. That's it. No matter what. And how would you get to live your life the best way? It's not so how long you live, it's how you live every day. What kind of values are important to you? What makes you happy when you look at the mirror? You know, instead of looking at the mirror, look deep. What is behind this person? You know, our mind is not in our head or our heart. These are all symbols. We are spiritual beings connected with material, which is something unexplained, unheard of. The fact that we can understand that and think about it, that's amazing. We are surrounded by beings that don't have this capacity. We don't know how they think because we cannot go into their heads of a cow or a dog, but we can observe and we can see. And we see their whole life. We see that they don't have development, almost. They don't need that. So what do we have to do with them? We have to be compassionate to those beings, to those animals. Why? Because that's what is our gift. This is our present as human beings, that we can choose to be compassionate, to be bigger, not to just be another animal that just eat and just taking everything and then die. It's worthless. Yeah, well, again, some philosophic ideas. We'll see if I post it, but I think it's worthwhile to listen and to digest. And I would love to have a conversation with anybody that wants to talk about those topics and wants to promote them. And I would love to share more ideas and concept. I think we are missing thinkers in these times. We have to have more thinkers, and the way to do it is encourage that thing, as a contribution. And that's it for now, guys. And yeah, if I do publish it, so thank you very much for taking your time and listening and think about things. And you can agree or disagree, that's fine. And I would be happy to have any communication with any one of you. Have a great day.